Hello, and welcome to our final webinar for OPT. And this is the webinar regarding filing the I-765 form, which is the application for employment authorization. All right. Here are all of our previous topics that we have covered. If you have any questions about any of these topics, you are free to look through any of the other 3 videos to find those things. And today's topics is filing the I-765 form as well as communication. All right. So we're going to start off with warnings. And my only real warning to our students is to take your time when filling this form out and do not rush your way through this form. The reason why, or the primary reason why, is that if you knowingly and willfully falsify or conceal a material fact or submit a false document with your Form I-765, USCIS will deny your form. It may deny any other immigration benefit. You might face severe penalties. You are subject to criminal persecution, prosecution. Bad things will happen do if you do not fill out this form properly and if you are found to be falsifying any document. So it's important to take your time with this form just to make sure that everything is correct and everything is complete. All right. So the purpose of the I-765 form is for foreign nationals to be granted temporary employment authorization. Also, when you're filling the form out, that is also your opportunity to request a Social Security card, right? So definitions, the employment authorization document. So it's an EAD card. It is a card that you receive, and it's evidence that you are authorized to work in the United States, right? So your actual documentation that you need to say you are legally in the United States and you can work in the United States is that EAD card. And of course, when you get a replacement, if your EAD card is issued in error, if it was lost, if it was stolen, if your name was misspelled, if your birthday is incorrect, you can request a replacement. So that's another one. And then of course, there is information all on the USCIS website regarding these things, right? So who may file the Form I-765? Now, the foreign student categories, there are several categories of people who can file this form. But just for the sake of the F1 student, or just for the sake of this video, we're going to say with the one that really matters to us, which is the F1 student seeking optional practical training in a position directly related to their major area of study. So, a note with that, if you are an F1 student filing for an initial extension of OPT, please note that your OPT employment authorization will be automatically terminated if you change educational program levels or transfer to another school. Working in the United States without authorization may result in the your removal from the United States or denial of reentry, right? So, in terms of the F1 student, at the very moment, if you're out on OPT and you've completed 1 month, but you decided, oh, well, I want to go to another school, is at the moment your profile is transferred over or your CVIS file is transferred over to another place, you are no longer authorized for OPT. Right. So in this case, it does not matter whether you have that EAD card or not. If you are no longer at a school if you are no longer at the school that gave you the qualification, you are no longer authorized for OPT. All right. And so here's the different kinds. Pre-completion, we don't offer that. Post-completion, that is what we offer. The 24-month STEM extension, and that is for students with a degree in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. F1 student, if you're offered off-campus employment using a sponsorship of a qualifying international organization. you get the EAD card. If you are seeking off-campus employment due to a severe economic hardship, you can file for this form. If you are a J2 spouse or minor, or if you are an M1 student. All right, general instructions. Signature, right? Each application must be properly signed and filed. For all signatures on this application, USCIS will not accept a stamped or typewritten name in place of a signature. If you are under 14 years of age, your parent or legal guardian may sign the application on your behalf. A legal guardian may also sign for a mentally incompetent person, right? So, validity of signatures. USCIS will consider a photocopied, faxed, or scanned copy of the original handwritten signature for filing purposes. The photocopy, fax, or scan must be the original document containing the handwritten ink signature. So, on this, of course, if you are filing this form online, there are other ways that you will have to submit that signature. But if you are doing the paper signature, it has to be properly filed. The signatures must be clear and they must be yours on there. The filing fee really it changes. Right now, the filing fee is $470 for online, and I believe $520 for paper. Evidence. When you file your application, you must submit all evidence and supporting documents listed in the required documentation section and are the specific instruction sections of the instructions when you're filing the form, right? So if USCIS looks through your file and they want to ask you more questions, they will require you to appear for an interview or provide certain biometrics, so fingerprints, photographs, signatures, and they might do that to verify your identity to make sure you are who you say you are. They might do an FBI check to make sure that you haven't committed any crimes or anything like that. In those cases, you will receive notification of this biometric screening, and it will give you a location. All right, specific instructions. Part 1, and this is when you're actually in the form. We're actually going to go through every section of this I-765 form, right? So this is what the form asks you. Part 1, reason for applying, right? So you want to choose the correct thing. If this is your initial OPT application, it is initial permission to accept employment. If you're looking for a replacement, you can choose this as a replacement. If this is a renewal, then you can also choose a renewal. And then a note to that, if you need a replacement or a correction of your EAD card due to the USCIS making an error, you do not have to pay another filing fee. However, if it has been found that you are the person who made the mistake, you will have to pay another filing fee. The second part is information about you, your full legal name as shown as your birth certificate or your legal change of name document. Other names used. So if you have a nickname that you're known by, anything like that, you want to put that there. Your U.S. mailing address. You must provide a valid mailing address in the United States, right? You can list a valid U.S. residence, APO, or commercial address. You may also list a P.O. box if that is how you receive your mail, right? And if you have someone else who will be receiving these documents for you, you will also have an opportunity to put in an in care of name. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you are not to use your attorney's or legal representative's address in this section. All right. Your physical address, that is where you reside. That is where you sleep, right? Your mailing address is where you received your mail, right? Item number 8 is your alien registration number. Most F1 students do not have an alien registration number unless they've already received some sort of a benefit from USCIS or any other governmental place or entity. So I would not worry about that. And USCIS online account number, if this is your first time filing this form, you will not have a USCIS online account number. However, if this is not your first time and you've already applied for benefits at from USCIS, you want to put that account number there. Gender, of course. Previous application for employment authorization from USCIS, right? So they're going to ask you, have you already applied? Say yes or no. After that, they're going to ask you if you have a social security number. And then if you answer no, they'll ask you if you want one. The questions that come after you mark yes, if you want a social security number, they're going to ask for your father and mother's family and given names at birth. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're entering your father's and your mother's names there. Okay, country or countries of citizenship or nationality. You want to type or print the name of the country or countries that you are currently a citizen of or a national of. Um, so put that there. If you are stateless, type or print the name of the country where you were a citizen or a national. And if you are a citizen of more than one country, type or print the name of the foreign country that issued your last passport. All right. You want to enter in your place of birth, your date of birth, and then you also want to enter your I-94 information. And your I-94 can be found at the I-94 website. Just really go to Google, type in I-94, and you'll get to the site and you can get a printout of that, and it has all of your information in it. Also, when entering your birth date, please bear in mind that we use month, date, and year format. We do not do date, month, year. So you want to enter your month in first, the 2 digits, 2 numbers for a month, 2 numbers for day, and 4 numbers for year when you're entering in your birthday. All right. Date of your last arrival into the United States, on or about. It is important to put that in there if you have left, entered, or exited the United States while you were studying. Understand that your I-94 will be looked at. So if you put something incorrect there, it will be found out. Place of your last arrival to the United States, same. Immigration status at your last arrival. So if the last time you entered the United States, you were in B status, you want to put B status. And this is whether your status has been changed or not. So if you came in B and stayed and changed your status to F, you still want to use that B because you entered the country on a B visa. Okay. Your current immigration status or category for all of our students, it should be F1 status students. The next section that you're going to fill out is your CVIS ID number. That is the N number that can be found on your I-20. And then you enter in your eligibility category. It will be a list. So the only thing you would have to do is look through the drop-down list and choose the choose the correct category. And if you're STEM OPT, then that'll be another category that you will put on there. And then, there's certain rules on certain categories. If you choose a different category, then you get additional questions. So then you have to answer questions about your being arrested or criminal convictions or anything like that. You want to be honest in those things. Even if you received a parking ticket, it's not necessarily going to stop you from getting your I-765, but you want to be as honest as possible in these fields. Um, and then um, you want to put in any documentation or anything like that. All right, applicant statement, contact information, declaration, certification, and signature. Check a box saying whether it was you who filled this out or if you had maybe a lawyer or an immigration attorney fill that out for you. If someone else filled this out for you, then they will have to enter in their contact information and sign. And that's pretty much going further into that. Whoever prepared this form for you needs to sign. If you filled it out yourself, then it will be just you. And if you need to provide any additional information within this application, that's when you're going to utilize Part 6. So you want to put that information, any additional information, make sure that is in there. All right, required documentation to file the I-765 form. So assemble your documents in the following order: filing fee, right? Your properly signed application, or if you filled it out online, you'll be at the end of the application by then. You also have to provide a copy of at least one of the following documents: your I-94, passport or your other travel document, a copy of your last EAD card. You have to submit 2 identical color passport style photographs of yourself that you've taken recently. So you cannot use the same passport photos that you took for your original passport. You must go and get new passport photos. And also, it will not accept selfies. So make sure that you're going to get a actual passport photo. Where to file? You can file online, or you can also mail it out. Of course, mailing it out costs about an extra $70-$80 more, but you can also file it online, which is the best way to go about it. Now, processing, right? If you decide that you want to do premium processing, you want to reach it, you want to go and look at the USCIS website to check and just make sure that you're aware of the fees and all of the things associated. All right. If you need to change your address, you will need to file that in USCIS. You have to notify USCIS of any address changes, especially while you're in, if you're in process and if your OPT has not been approved. You want to make sure that your address is changed immediately once you have that new address. In additional processing information, you must have a United States address to file this application, right? So, this is how the process works. Initial processing, that's when they accept it and check it for completeness, right? So that's the first step, right? So if you don't if you don't fully fill out the application, if you submit an I-20, OPT endorsed I-20 that is outside of that 30-day time frame, this will be your first point of rejection, right? So you want to make sure you're taking your time and you're working slowly. Requests for more information. USCIS may request that you provide more information or evidence to support your application. Um, and then they might ask for original documents, official transcripts, things of that. Requests for interviews. USCIS will contact you should they need to speak with you more and have that biometrics appointment. A decision, it's approval or denial, right? If it's approved, you will either get your EAD card mailed to you, or you will be required to pick it up from your local USCIS office. If you're denied, USCIS cannot approve it. They will send you written notice and tell you why you were denied. All right, filing timelines. So best practices is to file your OPT application or your I-765 form 90 days before your program ends, and you have up to 60 days after or before your program ends, and you have up to 60 days after your program ends to apply for OPT. All right. And then the current fee schedule. Electronic filing is $470, paper filing is $520, and premium processing is $1,685. And then, of course, all fees are subject to change. And then we have some common denial reasons. Your visa is expiring within 6 months of application date. If your visa is expiring, within the time that you're requesting that, I-765, requesting that EAD card, it's a possibility that you will be denied. So make sure that your passports and your visas do not have expiration dates within the next 3 years, just to be safe. The submitted photos do not meet the requirements after multiple attempts to contact you to get that updated. That will lead to denial. Unauthorized employment, um, that leads to a bit more than just denial. It might also lead to deportation. It might lead to criminal charges. It might end in a lot of things. So, at this point, if you have if you have had any unauthorized employment, and you use your social security number or a social security number or a name for it, upon you filing this, you will be denied for that. Not ending CPT employment upon program completion, right? So if you are currently on CPT and you graduate and you do not stop working and you continue to get paid, you will get denied OPT because that authorization ends upon your program completion. Another common reason is that you got a previous OPT authorization for the same major. So if you graduated and received one master's for computer science and got the OPT and the extension and then went back to another computer science program, you will not be eligible. You're not eligible for OPT. Not addressing requests for evidence within the timelines provided. Of course, if they send you a request for evidence or a request for information and they have a date on them and you do not turn them in on time, your I-765 will be denied. And then also, of course, filing the form with an expired OPT requested I-20. All right. And so all we have left is communication. And on the communication portion, I just have one note. And that note is, if I don't know, I cannot advise or assist. It is important that you keep communication with the team of anything that is happening, because we are here to advocate for our students. We are here to assist our students. And although there are some situations where there is nothing that we can do, our hands are tied. It's typically, actions of the student has hindered us from being able to help. We might be able to help. So it's important to have an open line of communication with our team as we go through this process. And that was all I had. And thank you. So that was all I had. I hope everybody enjoyed our 4-part webinar series, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.